Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk about the CattleTrace program with Cassie Kniebel, as well as the recipient of the Leopold Conservation Award in Kansas, Hoeme Farms from Scott City, Stacy Hoeme sits down with us to talk about things he does on their operation. Plus, reports from the Kansas Soybean Commission and Kansas Department of Agriculture, and weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and Paragon Ag Advisors. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919, kfb.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leading in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online, kswheat.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future of Kansas corn. Online, kscorn.com. In agriculture news from agview.net, farmland damaged by spring flooding is at risk of declining values. Farmers National Company says there'll be short-term as well as long-term effects on flooded farmland and its value, depending on if farmers can plant and grow a crop this year and in future production forecasts. Farmers National notes that the value of farmland depends on the income that it can generate and how consistent production is. The less income the land produces and riskier production is each year, it'll impact the long-term land values. The concern comes as the Kansas City Federal Reserve Bank recently reported that overall risk of further declines in farmland values have increased. Those risks, among others, indications include a recent increase in farmland sales in some states that suggest a decline in farmland values could be on the horizon. A persistently low volume of land sales has also contributed to the stability of farmland values through an economic downturn. Well, data from USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service 2017 Census of Agriculture shows the number of farms in Kansas during 2017, 58,569. That's down 5% from the 2012 Census of Agriculture. Land in farms, 45.8 million acres, down about 1% from 5 years ago. Land in farms count for 87.5% of the total land area in the state of Kansas compared to 39.8% the rest of the U.S. The average size farm in Kansas, 781 acres, up 5% or 34 acres from 2012. The total value of agriculture products sold in 2017, $18.8 billion. That's up 2% from 2012. Of that total value of production, 66% of that originated from livestock, 34% from crops. The average net income per farm, $49,291, down 3%. During 2017, the average age of producer, 58.1 years, compared to 56.5 in 2012. And the number of young producers, that's defined as those 35 age or less, was about 10% of all producers. The number of female producers, 32,682, about 34% of all producers, and 76% of Kansas farms have internet access compared to 75% for all the U.S. Higher limits are now available for borrowers interested in farm loans from USDA. They announced this past week the increase would help farmers purchase farms or cover some operating expenses. The 2018 Farm Bill increased the amount that producers can borrow through direct as well as guaranteed loans that are available through the Farm Service Agency, and also made changes to other loans like the micro loans as well as emergency loans. FSA Administrator Richard Fordyce called those farm loans increasingly important to farmers and ranchers, as simply as natural disasters, trade disruptions, as well as persistent pressure on the commodity prices continue to impact agriculture operations. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web, oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. More at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, cleaner American fuel. Message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
And let's spend a few moments now talking about a program that it was launched here in the state of Kansas, and many folks have talked about it. It's the CattleTrace program. Cassie Kniebel with the Beef Cattle Institute at Kansas State joins us. And Cassie, you have been involved in this really since its launch, and early reports are it's going quite well, and people are really taking to it.
Yes, we think it's going well. It's kind of still, in the first beginning stages. So we have been finalized our protocol and got kind of our initial partners on board, really focusing efforts on at the cow-calf producer level. But we have 14 feed yards now, 7 livestock markets, and all the major packers in Kansas. So moving right along and kind of getting up to the next point, reading data and starting to get it into our database.
What's the role of the Beef Cattle Institute in all this?
So they are one of the collaborators of the project, kind of early stages, so how this project developed. In December of last year, at last year's Kansas Livestock Association convention, they passed a resolution in support of mandatory animal ID for all cattle. Strong language obviously sparked a lot of conversation, and so that was kind of the impetus to this pilot project and getting it off the ground. There were several other initiatives, Kansas Strategic Growth Initiative, traceability top of mind for producers in Kansas, and the WPI report released by NCBA also kind of highlighted some different conclusions of what should happen and what you should look at when developing a traceability system.
So it's been now in place a few months. Are other states looking and saying maybe we should implement this? Or I assume there's been a lot of conversation with other states saying, maybe we should get on board as well, or we still need some more time to see how really the flow is working.
Yes, so we've had a lot of interest actually from out of the state of Kansas. It's not, it started in Kansas, but it's growing quite a bit, and we hope to end with something that's can be replicated at a national level. So we are, talking with kind of our bordering states. There's some in the southeast that have some interest, and we're trying to continue those conversations to hopefully bring them into the project and kind of show that national system and how it can work.
So really the traceability starts in the pasture and goes all the way till when?
So CattleTrace, the pilot project, starts at the cow-calf producer level. That's where we anticipate most of the tags will be putting calves, and it goes all the way through the packer. So at the packer level, it's the important piece is tag retirement. So once those tags are read at the packer level, go to the CattleTrace database. The tags are retired, which is really important when it comes to disease traceability.
Right. All right. So if folks want to learn more, maybe see if their operation wants to be a partner, maybe with one of the feedlots or sell one of the auction facilities, how can they get more information?
Yes. So the list of our participants are on CattleTrace.org. Also, our contact information can be found there as well. So if folks have an interest, please go to our website, CattleTrace.org, and we'd love to talk to them.
All right, Cassie, thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Cassie Kniebel with CattleTrace has joined us. We'll have more coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. And AgView.net, covering news and views in the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt. Reliable and relevant, AgView.net. agriculturenews.net.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here, the time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net. And at the KLA meeting in Wichita, one of the things they do is recognize stewardship and conservation efforts. And joining us is the winner of the Kansas Leopold Conservation Award, Stacy Hoeme from Scott City, who is representing Hoeme Family Farms. So congratulations on this award.
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate it. It's quite an honor we have this.
Okay, this has been going on now for several years in several states, and started up in Wisconsin, and really want to not only look at conservation efforts, but really celebrate those that are working the land and what they're doing. So talk about your operation, talk about some of those practices that you think maybe led to this award.
Well, we do, we have a full farm. We have, where we rotate, no-till farm. We do rotation farming. We have a ranch that produces quite a bit of beef off of, about 9,000 acres on the ranch, and we split that ranch up, cell grazed it. It was one large ranch at one time when we took it over as a cow-calf production. Now we put yearlings on it and cell graze it, and I don't know, a lot of it. We work with the NRCS. We do different things with them. We have some CRP. We have some playa lakes that are going in, and so we do a variety of things and try to conserve water, and that's where it's all at this point. Also,
a lot of winners are family operations, multi-generation. I believe yours is one as well.
Yes, yeah. I have my son that came back. My father was a farmer. Mainly, he was a cattleman, and so I kind of ran the farm, but his father was a farmer, and his father was a farmer, and actually on my mother's side, my grandfather on her side was a farmer and a feedlot operator too. Okay. So it's all been kind of in the family, and then fortunate enough, I had some cousins that decided to sell part of their farm. It was my grandfather. My son bought it, so it was his great grandfather, and some of the 100-year-old farm that we're farming on right now.
So talk about then those practices that you do. You talked a little bit about no-till, but talk about that, because I'm guessing that somebody probably recognized some of your efforts, that hey, why don't you apply for this award, and so maybe talk about that whole process, because I think a lot of times people go, oh, doing all that paperwork, that process, but really kind of talk about how you went through to the point where you are right now.
Well, a lot of it, we just we did a natural deal. It improved our farm by maybe we no-tilled, and as in leaving more stay on the more vegetation on the property, and didn't quite work it as often as you normally do anything. And it was quite a production, to be honest with you. I enjoy it because a lot of it's just pretty easy to do, and the no-till gave us more free time.
All right, Stacy, so then I guess before we wrap it up, what would you encourage folks that are on the land, that are doing some good conservation practices, encourage them to maybe apply, or at least kind of review what they're doing on their farm and ranch?
Well, always be open for new openings and new projectives, because there's a lot of times you improve your property. You might not look at it that way at first, but it does in the long run. And I've seen a lot of improvement, especially on our grass on our at the ranch, where we did cell grazing, and that has improved the grass and a lot of things at that point. So we're always open to anything at this point, Ken.
Stacy, congratulations to you and your family on this award.
Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Stacy Hoeme, who was Hoeme Family Farm and Ranch there near Scott City, the winner of the Kansas Leopold Conservation Award. We'll have more coming up.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device. News and views on grains, livestock policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News. A reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
On-farm technologies can be as complex as they are essential, but new guidance from the Soybean Checkoff aims to help farmers maximize their data to make the best management decisions. The Checkoff's Tech Toolshed, in partnership with 5 universities, released a new installment of free resources to help farmers incorporate digital and precision agriculture systems into their farm management strategies. The newest release focuses on data literacy and offers insights and tips tailored for soybean farmers to help them better understand the agriculture data landscape, evolving agricultural technologies, and data analytics, among other features. The Tech Toolshed is an unbiased information source developed by the United Soybean Board to help soybean farmers maximize existing technology, integrate new technology, and make use of the vast quantity of data available. The 6 pillars of data literacy outlined in the resources are fundamentals, integrity, management, sources, uses, and legalities. The 5 land-grant universities that collaborated on the project were Kansas State University, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, Iowa State University, Purdue University, and The Ohio State University. You can get more information at unitedsoybean.org/techtoolshed on the web, or follow Tech Toolshed on Twitter.
Premier Farm & Home has what you need to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood.
Hi, I'm Ken. We choose Premier Farm & Home for the professional look that we do ourselves.
Feel free to stop in. You can also visit our website at heycow.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Economic growth in Kansas depends on growth in agriculture, which has been the driving force behind the development of the Kansas Ag Growth Strategy Project over the past 3.5 years. It began with individual meetings between leaders in specific agricultural sectors, discussing the opportunities for growth within those sectors and the barriers to that growth, and then was followed by the first Governor's Summit on Agricultural Growth in 2016. The Ag Growth Summit has now become an annual event for ag leaders from across the state to gather and focus on agricultural growth. Mark your calendars now for the 4th Annual Ag Growth Summit in Manhattan on August 29th, with a social dinner the night before that has become a can't-miss event. Strategic planning during and after the annual summit has identified desired outcomes within 19 specific sectors and action plans to achieve those outcomes, which are updated every year. Those updated documents were recently published at the Ag Growth website, agriculture.ks.gov/growag, and work is underway on many of the initiatives identified in those plans. We encourage farmers, ranchers, agribusiness owners, community leaders, and all those interested in economic development to look at the new documents and see where you can be engaged in the project. And we hope to see you at the Ag Growth Summit on August 29th. Although the Ag Growth Strategy Project is coordinated by a team at the Kansas Department of Agriculture, from the beginning it has been a collective effort from ag leaders across the state, and it is increasingly clear that statewide growth will require collaboration across the industry, in all sectors and throughout the production chain. We are all interconnected in many ways. Growth will also require participation and engagement from all corners of the state and from all sectors in the industry to bring about the outcomes we envision for the growth of Kansas agriculture.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Beef took center stage at the American Culinary Federation Chef Connect event held last month in Minneapolis. The Beef It's What's for Dinner brand was represented at the event through a partnership between state beef councils from Kansas, Nebraska, Texas, Iowa, South Dakota, Oklahoma, and Minnesota. The Beef Checkoff hosted a pop-up tasting between education sessions where chefs could sample mustard-glazed beef culotte roast. The cut is from the sirloin and was featured as an alternate option for buffet-style carving stations or as a unique addition to beef menus. Additionally, Chef Dave Zeno with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, a contractor to the Beef Checkoff, hosted a breakout session where he discussed traditional beef cuts used on buffet lines and carving stations, then presented alternative options that could provide a lower price point but still deliver an exceptional eating experience. Examples included the sirloin cap and sirloin fillet steaks. Chef Connect events attract professional chefs and culinary students from across the country who are looking for ideas and experiences to further their careers. The Beef Checkoff has been involved in the American Culinary Federation events for more than 10 years, providing chefs with fresh, creative ways to feature the product helps keep beef in a prominent position on restaurant menus nationwide.
Agriculture information on your computer or mobile device, news and views on grains, livestock, policy, and opinions from newsmakers can be found by liking AgView on Facebook, and on Twitter, follow AgView News, a reliable and relevant source, agview.net.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil, and the decision continues improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
Good morning. I'm Derek Hermish with Paragon. The times, they are changing. Although if you look at the grain markets, doesn't seem like much has changed at all. Sideways to lower with limited rallies seems to be our mantra for the last few years. Hopefully, as we head into the unknown of the growing season, we get one of those rallies that gives us some better selling opportunities than what we have had. However, there are some changes that are going to be happening regardless of rallies. The storage rate that warehouse facilities such as ADM or Cargill can earn for storing corn and soybeans going forward is going to increase from 5 to 8 cents a month. Assuming we do not have a short crop this year, this change will more than likely result in more carry in the market, meaning the spreads from your nearby months, the deferred futures, will widen, with the premium being in the deferred months. There are no guarantees that it will work that way, but it's a logical expectation to have. For the producer with grain storage, this should translate to being able to earn more income for the grain you store in your bins. But you will have to sell that carry in the market to capture and treat futures and basis as two separate portions of your cash marketing. With change comes opportunity, but rarely does that opportunity come to you if you don't change something about yourself or your practices in some way. There will be opportunity for the producer willing to explore and understand these rate changes. And if you'd like to talk about them, give us a call at Paragon, 888-452-8751. I'm Derek Hermish. Have a good day.
That's our show this week. Be social with us online, KansasAgReport.net. Like us on Facebook, Kansas Ag Report Television Show, and follow us on Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.